Do you like looking at antiques?
I find antiques quite fascinating, yes. I especially enjoy visiting antique shops or markets, as it feels like a journey back in time. Each item has a story to tell, and I love imagining its history and the people who once owned it.
Are there many antique shops where you live?
Unfortunately, there aren't many dedicated antique shops right in my neighborhood. However, in a larger city, there are several wonderful areas known for their eclectic mix of vintage and antique stores. I enjoy exploring them whenever I get the chance.
Are there any antique items in your home?
Unfortunately, there aren't many dedicated antique shops right in my neighborhood. However, in a larger city, there are several wonderful areas known for their eclectic mix of vintage and antique stores. I enjoy exploring them whenever I get the chance.
Why do people like to buy antiques?
I think people buy antiques for several reasons. For some, it's about owning a unique piece of history. For others, it's an investment, as some items can increase in value over time. And of course, many people appreciate the craftsmanship and unique aesthetic that older items offer.
Do you think antiques are a good investment?
It's difficult to say for sure. While some rare antiques can become very valuable, many do not. I believe that for most people, the true value of an antique is in its beauty, history, and personal meaning, rather than its potential for financial gain. I'd like to talk about a particular antique item that my family has cherished for a very long time, a beautiful mechanical grandfather clock. It's quite tall, made of dark polished wood, with intricate carvings and a large, ornate face. Every hour, it chimes with a deep, resonant sound that echoes through the house, marking the passage of time in a truly classic way. It's not just a timekeeping device. It's a striking piece of furniture that commands attention in our living room. This magnificent clock first came into our family's possession many generations ago. As the story goes, it was a wedding gift to my great-grandparents when they were married in the early 1940s. They lived in a small village then, and acquiring such a substantial and elegant item would have been quite an event, signifying prosperity and a fresh start for their new life together. It was delivered by a special transport and carefully set up in their modest home, immediately becoming the focal point of their family life. So, considering it was a wedding gift to my great-grandparents, my family has kept this clock for a substantial period, likely around 80 years now. It has seen countless family gatherings, holidays, and everyday moments. It has been passed down through the generations from my great-grandparents to my grandparents, and then to my parents, and it continues to reside in our home today. Each transfer was accompanied by stories and memories, solidifying its place as a family heirloom. The clock is profoundly important to my family, not just as a beautiful object, but as a symbol of continuity and heritage. Its steady ticking and familiar chimes are a constant reminder of our roots and the many family members who have lived alongside its presence. It connects us to our ancestors and helps us feel a sense of shared history. Whenever we hear its deep chimes, it evokes a feeling of warmth, comfort, and the enduring nature of family traditions, making it truly irreplaceable.
Do you think it is important for people to preserve and collect antiques?
Absolutely. I think it's incredibly important. Antiques are more than just old objects. They are tangible links to our past. They carry with them stories, history, and cultural significance that help us understand where we come from. Preserving them is like preserving a chapter of human history. For example, a piece of vintage furniture can tell us about the craftsmanship and lifestyle of a previous era. Collecting antiques also encourages a sense of stewardship, where individuals take on a responsibility of caring for these items for future generations. This process not only keeps history alive, but also fosters an appreciation for the skills and traditions that might otherwise be lost. Ultimately, without this effort, our connection to the past would become purely theoretical, lacking the physical evidence that makes history feel real and relatable.
How has technology changed the way people buy and sell antiques?
Technology has completely transformed the antique market, making it more accessible and global. In the past, finding antiques was limited to local shops, auctions, and estate sales. Now, with the internet, platforms like eBay and specialized online marketplaces have opened up a worldwide market. This means a collector in one country can easily find and purchase a unique item from another, which would have been nearly impossible before. Furthermore, technology has also improved the authentication process. Experts can use advanced tools like high-resolution cameras and databases to verify the authenticity of an item more effectively. However, this shift also brings challenges, such as the increased risk of counterfeit items and the loss of the personal, tactile experience of browse in a traditional antique store. Despite these drawbacks, the overall impact has been to democratize the hobby, connecting buyers and sellers on an unprecedented scale.
What are the main differences between an antique and a vintage item, and why is this distinction important?
While the terms are often used interchangeably, the key difference lies in age. Generally, an item is considered an antique if it is over 100 years old, whereas a vintage item is typically from a more recent period, usually at least 20 to 50 years old. The distinction is important for several reasons. Firstly, it affects the value. True antiques often command higher prices due to their rarity and historical significance. A genuine Ming Dynasty vase will be far more valuable than a vintage lamp from the 1970s. Secondly, the classification influences how items are perceived and studied. Antiques are often viewed as historical artifacts, while vintage items are more associated with a specific cultural or design movement, like mid-century modernism. Understanding this difference is crucial for collectors, dealers, and historians to ensure accurate pricing, proper preservation, and a correct understanding of an item's historical context.
What are some of the potential risks or downsides of collecting antiques?
Collecting antiques, while a rewarding hobby, certainly has its risks. One of the primary downsides is the financial investment involved. High-value antiques can be extremely expensive, and there is always a chance that the item's value might not appreciate or could even decrease over time. Furthermore, the market for fakes and forgeries is very active, and without a lot of expertise or professional authentication, a collector could easily purchase a counterfeit item, leading to a significant financial loss. Another risk is the responsibility of preservation. Antiques are often fragile and require special care to prevent damage from environmental factors like humidity, temperature changes, and light exposure. Without proper storage and maintenance, a valuable piece could be ruined. Lastly, it can be a time-consuming hobby, requiring extensive research and a lot of effort to find, acquire, and care for items.
In what ways do antiques contribute to a country's tourism and economy?
Antiques make a significant contribution to a country's tourism and economy in several ways. Firstly, they are a major draw for cultural tourism. Historical sites, museums, and grand houses often display collections of antiques, which attract visitors from all over the world who are interested in history, art, and design. Think of the British Museum or the Louvre, which are filled with invaluable ancient artifacts and furniture. This tourism generates revenue through ticket sales, accommodation, and local spending. Secondly, the antique trade itself is a considerable economic sector. Cities with famous antique markets or auction houses, such as London or New York, become hubs for international buyers and sellers, creating jobs and driving economic activity. Furthermore, the restoration and preservation of antiques support a niche industry of skilled craftspeople like restorers and conservators, whose expertise is crucial for maintaining these historical treasures.